Let's say you want to model an interesting shape like a pentagon, and you want it to have smooth bevels, or any kind of bevel, on each of the sides like a good modeler should. But you don't want the creases that happen from the non-standard topology that you use to try and get this shape. And you definitely don't want to have to try and model each one of these little beveled sides individually and stitch them together. So let's see if we can find a way to make Animation Master do most of the work for us. I'm going to make a new model, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to turn on Snap Manipulator to Grid temporarily here, and I'm going to start drawing a lathe outline around my center green axis. And I'm going to say this is about where my corner of my tablet is. This is like a side view I'm making. So here's my lathe outline. I need to go in and square out these little extra curvy parts, and I need to turn on Show Bias Handles so that when I select a CP, its bias handles are visible. I'll square that, and that one, and that one, and my last one here. And I'm going to zoom in to take a closer look at these. This one's probably could stand just a little more squaring, and that one I probably overcorrected. Okay, I'm going to say those are square. Now we just have a lathe profile right now. I need to lathe that, but first I need to hold on the control key and hit my lathe icon and set this to twice the number of sides of my shape. In this case we're making a pentagon, so I will leave that at 10, and I will select a CP, lathe it out, and magically we have not made a pentagon. We have a circular shape, but all is not lost. I'll go back to wireframe here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select every other rib except for the center part, and I'm going to hold down the shift key while I select each additional alternate rib, and I think that's my last one. And notice how this box is a little bit to one side. That's because this spline ends out a little farther than these two do. So when I hit the R key to get the rotate manipulator, the center of that is not at my origin, so I need to fix that. I'm going to set X to 0, and that sets my rotate manipulator so it's centered on 0. Now here comes the magic. I'm going to slowly rotate these alternate ribs. And there, I think that's probably about a bevel similar in dimension to what I had on the corners. Now I'm going to zoom in and hit the enter key to deselect everything. Now I'm going to select the center. I'm going to rotate that again with the R key, so it looks like these splines are center splines are about lined up with their comrades on the outside, and that looks about right. Let me go back to shaded view, and let's see what we got here. We've got something that looks pretty darn close to a pentagon with beveled sides. We just need to fix that hole in the center. I'll go back to wireframe here, shaded wireframe. Now let's go back to wireframe. In a top view, I'll select this again. I just want to shrink it on the X dimension and the Z dimension. I don't want to shrink it up and down. So I'm going to go over here to the properties of that group, which is currently untitled, and go to the scale section, and I'm going to set X to just 5% and Z to 5%, and that scrunches that down. And let's go back to shaded view and look around this, and that looks darn near perfect. And that ought to be a beveled pentagon fit for any purpose for man or beast.